What if the treats you're feeding your dog every day are actually holding them back from living a longer, healthier life? Before we get into today's conversation, I want to share something special with our listeners and viewers. We're doing a giveaway with Oliver P. Toliver's Thoroughly Tasty Treats, and honestly, these are the only treats I give my two rescue dogs. One of the reasons I love this brand so much is because there's real purpose behind it. Beth founded Oliver P. Toliver after years of training rescue dogs, and she became a volunteer for therapy dogs. These treats aren't just about rewarding our pets, they're about connection, training, development, and doing something good along the way. A portion of all profits helps support organizations that train rescue dogs to become therapy dogs, which makes this partnership even more meaningful. So we're excited to have Beth here with us today to talk about her story, her mission, and why thoughtful ingredients and intentional care matter so much. And if you'd like to enter the giveaway for your own pup, email us after the episode to be entered for a chance to win a special Oliver P. Toliver treat package. We'll share all the details at the end of the show. Welcome to Unleash Curiosity by Vital Pet Life.
I'm Dr. Amber De Silva, veterinarian and advocate for integrative pet care.
And I'm Donie Yamamoto, founder and CEO of Vital Pet Life. We're so glad you're here.
This is a space where curiosity, compassion, and science converge, where we explore the powerful mind-body connection that supports your pet's health and your own.
Each week, we'll dive deep into the world of pet wellness, breaking down myths, exploring ingredients, and learning from expert voices across the industry.
From nutrition and sustainability to transparency and advocacy, we're here to help you feel more confident, connected, and informed in your care choices.
Let's get into it, because when we know better, we do better. This is Unleash Curiosity. From baking from one sick puppy to building a purpose-driven brand, how intentional nutrition, enrichment, and the human-animal bond could extend your dog's life and transform rescue narratives. Welcome back to Unleash Curiosity. I'm Donie Yamamoto, and in this episode, we're diving into what healthy dog treats really mean, how small daily choices can impact your dog's longevity, and why a truly fulfilled dog needs more than just a physical exercise.
Dr. Amber De Silva, welcome back to our podcast. Today, we're joined by Beth Jackson, the purpose-driven founder behind Oliver P. Toliver's Thoroughly Tasty Treats. What started as a deeply personal mission to help her own rescue pup, Oliver, through serious health challenges, turned into something much bigger. A brand rooted in intentional ingredients, thoughtful design, and real impact.
But Beth isn't just changing what dogs eat. She's changing how we think about them. From challenging the idea that rescue dogs are broken to training therapy dogs that bring healing to hospitals. Her work is a blend of nutrition, enrichment, and human-animal bond.
This all started with one sick puppy and a decision to never question what was going into his food again.
Welcome to Unleash Curiosity, Beth.
Welcome to the show, Beth.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so excited. Okay, Beth, can you take us back to Oliver? Like, what were the health challenges he faced, and how did that moment change the way you think about what we feed our dogs?
Yeah, well, it started because, we got Oliver when he was 10 weeks old, and in less than 24 hours, he was diagnosed with Parvo. Watching a 10-week-old puppy barely survive Parvo completely rewired how I think about what goes into a dog's body. And it basically, if you don't know anything about Parvo, well, Dr. Amber, you do. But it basically destroys the intestinal lining. So Oliver couldn't absorb nutrients or fluids. So everything that we gave him had to be purposeful and gentle, and that could be filler. So honestly, that feeling of seeing that little puppy fight for his life, just never went away. And so it just made me think about what was in the food I was giving him. I started reading labels, finding out about ingredients, and just whether or not the ingredients in the product were actually there for a reason, or if they were just to make it look good or to last longer. While Oliver survived, that experience really stayed with me. And it's really the foundation for everything Oliver P. Toliver is built on. It's just the idea that what we feed our dogs isn't a small decision.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so rare to find brands or even treats now. The more I read labels, I'm very picky on what I feed the boys. Like, especially when there's trends of like freeze dried meat and all those stuff. Like, you don't really know what goes on it. But I mean, I'm sure it's good probably to some other dogs. But again, depending on what dog you have and what are the issues that they currently have, like, it's very important to read labels.
Yeah, and I think when you're buying these treats, a lot of the packaging and everything, it's made for the humans. It's not really for the dogs.
Yeah.
So, all the different flavors and everything. And, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'm in marketing. And it's like, I like to have variety. So my dogs don't just get Oliver P. Toliver treats. There's a lot of different treats that we get, just depending on what the situation is. Some are a bone that they could take and eat on their own. And then with the Oliver P. Toliver treats, that's when we're doing puzzles or enrichment or
Yeah.
that sort of.
We use it a lot for puzzles and, as I said, like training for them to on a walk. And yeah, but they love it. As Kyle mentioned, that sometimes he gets it in at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh gosh.
I know.
One word, sustainability. What comes into your mind?
But what comes into my mind is just things that are responsibly sourced, at least when it comes to the treats that we make. Every ingredient I choose has to be good for dogs and also not be harmful to the planet. So things like caught salmon, humanely raised eggs, they're not just better for your dog, they're just better choices overall. Sustainability to me means being thoughtful about where things come from, not just what they do.
Exactly.
So, when we talk about extending a dog's life, where do treats fit in? And what are most pet parents getting wrong about quote unquote healthy treats?
So treats are sort of an afterthought for a lot of people. And I get it because it's how they're marketed. They're positioned as a reward, a little bonus, something fun. But if your dog gets treats every day, that's not a bonus. That's part of their diet.
Yeah.
I feel like it deserves the same scrutiny you'd give their food. What I see most pet parents get wrong is equating natural or grain-free on the label with healthy. And they're largely marketing words, jargon. And the real question is, what are the actual ingredients? What are they doing for my dog? Are there fillers? Are there preservatives? Things I can't pronounce?
Yeah.
We standard is simple. If I can't explain why every ingredient is in there, it shouldn't be in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I think, from a veterinary perspective, I see so many dogs that are overweight because they get so many treats. And so we're not only like, most treats are not meant to be nutritious, but they add a lot of calories. And so, yeah, I love your vision of like, giving them a treat, but doing it in a healthy way that's actually adding nutrition and not just empty calories.
Yeah.
And
Remember?
for a dog like Oliver, he was so smart and he was doing so many puzzles and he'd do them so quickly. So I had to be really careful about how many calories he got.
Yeah.
That was definitely a concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same goes with Tuxedo. If I give him, he has maybe 4 or 5 puzzles that he can finish in maybe like 5 minutes. And because he just remembers how to open it all up. But it's just going to be your treat. That's the only thing we put in. Because like it's hard if we put out like different treats, but we don't even know how much calories and we don't know what's in it. It will easily add up to his like daily calorie intake. But at least with Tolliver's, like, I think one treat is only, how much was it? Like, I think
It's like a couple of calories, maybe.
yeah, yeah. So that's why, like, yeah, it's okay. That's fine. He can have it. But yeah, it's very important. I was just about to say, Dr. Amber and I were just at the Global Pet, and every time we're at the trade show, like, all these big brands put out all these like treats, like latest products that they offer. And all the dogs, like, we're always worried about the dogs, right, Dr. Amber? Like, I
Yeah.
wonder what happens when they get home because there's a lot of like dogs that are influencers that are there in the show, and they just try all the treats, all the food that they can see in the show. Yeah, we're always, oh my god, like I feel bad for the dog already.
Yeah. I said to Donnie, I wonder how many of these dogs are going to have vomiting and diarrhea tonight because they went through 100 booths and had, all of these treats, all of these different treats.
And how would you even know which thing is the thing that kind of gets their stomach out of whack?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. As a baker and a brand builder, how do you approach ingredient selection differently than the mainstream pet treat companies?
Well, those companies are mainly optimizing for shelf life, cost, and visual appeal. And I'm optimizing for one thing. Would I feel good about giving this to my dog every single day?
Yeah.
It's a completely different starting point. For me, every ingredient needs to earn its place. So things like salmon for protein and omega-3s, sweet potato for fiber and nutrients. And then we use oat flour in 2 of our recipes because it's gentler on the stomach. There's no fillers, no preservatives, nothing that's in there that just makes it look prettier or last longer. Everything has a purpose. So as a marketing and branding professional, that transparency isn't just a value statement, it's the whole product. So when you
Mhm.
the ingredient and know what it does, it's not an accident. It's
Yeah.
on purpose. That's the whole point of our treats.
Yeah. Dr. Amber, you can do number 4.
You mentioned that both baking and branding require intention. So, how can pet parents apply that same mindset to their dog's daily routine to improve longevity?
Well, I think intention kind of sounds, I don't know, maybe woo woo or like a thing, but it just means being a little bit more deliberate about the small stuff because the small stuff adds up. So it doesn't need to be complicated. It could be 3 minutes a day of training, knowing what's in your dog's treats, adding a supplement like Vital Pet Life's fish oil to their routine, just pausing before you grab something off the shelf. So none of these things really feel like a big lift on their own, but consistently over months and years, that's how you move the needle on a dog's quality of life. And that one-on-one time that you spend with your dog, whether it's training or play or just focused attention, that's enrichment. And enrichment is just as important as food and exercise.
Yeah. You said something powerful like a tired dog is a happy dog, but not just physically. Can you break down what true enrichment looks like and why it's critical for a dog's mental and emotional health?
Yeah, I think when people hear enrichment, they think they need to buy expensive toys or sign their dog up for agility classes, which are great, if your dog likes them. But it can honestly be as simple as changing how you walk your dog. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but there are things called sniffaries, and you basically take your dog on a sniffing safari. So instead of a brisk walk where you're pulling your dog past every interesting smell, you let them lead and sniff whatever they want. So for 15, 20 minutes, as they're sniffing, that can tire a dog out much more than a longer walk because their brain is fully engaged the whole time. Smell is how dogs experience the world. So letting them use it is enriching in the truest sense. And training works the same way. Just a few minutes of learning something new, a trick, a command, a puzzle toy requires real cognitive effort. So when a dog figures something out, there's a genuine neurological reward happening. Just like us, we get dopamine hits, when something positive happens. So it's not just tiring them out, it's making them feel good in a fundamental way. And a physically tired dog is good, but a mentally satisfied dog is even better.
Better. Yeah. I
I
like.
love that.
Yeah, me
I
too.
actually have a story about that. It happened just this morning. I took my dog on a walk, and just a quick background, I just got this dog. She had bladder stones. When I got her, I knew she needed surgery. So she had her surgery. So we've been dealing with urinary issues with her. So I take her on a walk this morning, and I'm still training her. She wasn't well socialized or trained to walk on a leash very well. She's very reactive to certain dogs. So up ahead on my walk, I see these couple of dogs, and I thought, oh, I was walking faster. So I was kind of catching up to them. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to have a confrontation. I turned down a street that I don't think I've walked her before. So then she starts like squat pee, squat pee, squat pee. And I was like, no, I just rechecked her urine. I hope that she hasn't gotten another UTI. And then I realized after my walk was over, because then, once we got to like the familiar road on the other side,
Yeah.
she didn't pee the whole rest of the walk. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it hit me at the very end. Like she had never been on that sidewalk and in those front yards and smelled all the smells. So even me, I got tricked for a minute, but because of her urinary issues. But yeah, she went on a sniffari this morning. I love that.
Well, the post-it notes that all the other dogs were leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why we try. I like for Tuxedo and Martin, like we always try new, even if we've been there before, Dr. Amber, like They get to do like their walks morning and afternoon, but we always try like different areas just so they can widen their like mental sniffing snafaris. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Wow. But that's good. At least she was able to walk.
That was really huge for me because our dog before Oliver, our pet sitter would take him on these really slow walks. And
Mm-hmm.
he really big, active dog, just kind of a big lug. And he, I would say, like, why aren't you like taking him for like a long walk? Like, why aren't you taking him for a mile long walk or 2 mile? And then they changed. And then, of course, I got Oliver and I learned new things that doesn't have to be a long walk. It just has to be a good walk, right?
Yeah.
So, I think with every dog you get, you learn something new.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But then Tuxedo's very social. So in every walk, like he always says hello to any dog that he gets to pass on or like say everybody like, he will really play. But Martan, it's different. So we're always like, okay, are we gonna go to the other side? So I'm like, at first, like we had to bring both of them together too, because like they're now a pack. So Tuxedo also reacts to the dog. But I realized, you know what? Let him learn how to walk on his own, and then I let the older guy enjoy. We Kyle and I always have like a different route. Like Kyle always says like it takes maybe for like one block, like Tuxedo and I will be like there for like 15 minutes because he sniffs everything, all the pees, he urinates, and oh gosh, especially with male dogs, like they pee everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
From your experience, what are some common misconceptions about rescue dogs and what's the reality that you have seen?
Oh, there's so many. But I think the biggest misconception is that they come with baggage, that they're good for damage or gamble. And in my experience, it's the exact opposite.
Mm.
For most dogs, there are some dogs who need a little bit more. Dogs that are rescues, I feel like they have this incredible capacity for gratitude, and they seem to understand on some level that their situation has changed. And so they meet that with so much love and loyalty. And they're not broken. They just need someone to show up for them. So 2 of my rescue dogs before Oliver, I had Scout and Jasper. And both of them went on to become therapy dogs with UCLA's People Animal Connection program. And they visited patients and families during some of the most challenging times in their lives. And the staff love to visit with them too, because they're just, what they're doing is just so incredible and also very stressful. And so dogs that may have been passed over at the shelter are now sitting with someone in the middle of a really difficult time and bringing them genuine comfort. So to me, that's not a broken dog. That's an extraordinary.
Exactly.
I love that.
I know. Okay, so
Yeah,
you've
it kind of
trained.
makes me cry because
I know. I just kept like, yeah, I could just imagine, like, because I see all this like, there's so many dogs now that are in the shelter, and all the rescues they're doing really a good job. But again, there's a lot of dogs. Like I've just seen like one dog yesterday that was like, I think it was left behind somewhere in Silver Lake, and apparently the dog was abused. And it's a Labradoodle or a Golden Doodle, like it's just
yeah.
so
So then
sad. Like
you want
I
to
see
be
that all the time. Yeah. And then I see videos of like rescues when they decide who to get. And then you see the other cage, like dogs will like clamor to, and I've been to rescue, to shelters too. It's really just sad, but that's good. Like, people will be like Beth or anybody that can be, to think about like, training rescue dogs. I think my next question will be, can you tell us about the UCLA People Animal Connection program? What have you witnessed firsthand other than the healing power of dogs in, when they interact with patients?
Yeah. So with the UCLA People Animal Connection program, I was lucky enough to be involved in that program for about 10 or 12 years. And that was with my 2 different dogs, Scout and Jasper. And it's pretty amazing to witness the healing power of dogs firsthand. And there's probably a million stories I could share with you, but I'll just share 2 of them with you. My dog Scout, he was my first dog as an adult that I got on my own, like the love of my life before I met my husband. So you do 2-hour shifts. That's about the amount of time that they can handle it emotionally and physically. And because they really do absorb everything from the patient. And so we were at the end of a 2-hour shift and he needed to go to the bathroom, but there was one last patient on our list. So I thought, okay, well, we'll just stop by real quickly. We'll say hello. But she was in the middle of getting a transfusion, and you could tell she was just needing comfort and she was in a lot of pain. And Scout curled up on the bed with her and stayed there for, I think it was like 45 minutes.
Wow.
Gave her something to focus on other than the pain. That was pretty cool to see. On another visit, Jasper and I were with the young girl who had just found out that she didn't get the organ transplant that she was expecting. And usually when we visit patients, we often don't see them again. You know, some people are in the hospital long term, some people are there for a short time, or maybe they're in a different floor than we go to on the day that we visit. But then a few months later, I ran into her dad in the elevator lobby, and he saw me with Jasper, and he said, my daughter got the transplant. She's doing really well. And I just want to let you know how incredible it was that Jasper was there at that moment to give her comfort. Kind of cool because you don't really hear those stories. So the impact that dogs can have just by being present, it's profound.
I love that. Oh gosh, I could just even our dogs at home know when you're not feeling well, right? Like how they change and the energy, and they just give so much. That's why I feel so bad when you see all these animals getting abused or like, you know, I just hope people can really see the healing power and why they're really here.
Yeah. And whether dogs become like official therapy dogs or they're just providing you personal therapy, it's equally valuable. I mean, dogs have helped me get through so much.
Yeah. We talk about this all the time. Like last guest, like Dr. Paul was just telling us how important it was for him to show up and do the best for this animal because he knows how important this animal is to the owners and how much they. So yeah,
I like that.
I'm getting emotional.
I know it's so hard. When it comes to dogs, I mean, it's like
Yeah. Okay.
Oliver P. Toliver is at the heart of everything that you've built. If he could review your treats today, what do you think he'd say? And how has he shaped the standards that you refuse to compromise on?
Well, Oliver would definitely demolish all the treats. And he'd look at me like, is that all you got? He is ridiculously food motivated, ridiculously smart, and can solve 4 to 5 puzzles back to back in just a few minutes. So hence the need for a lot of treats. And he had a lot of challenges, but he also had this incredible will to live. And honestly, up until the day we picked him up, he was in the ICU for 2 days. And when they thought they were going to call us and say he didn't make it, and they said, come and get him. And we had, I mean, it was a week after we adopted him, and we really honestly didn't have him in our home for more than 24 hours during that time. So after that, we really got to know him. So seeing him be so strong through that just made me want to do everything I could for him. And nursing him back to health really put things in perspective. Like if I'm cooking for my family, I'm using the freshest ingredients. Why would I do it differently for him?
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to cook for your dog. That's a luxury. It's expensive. It's time consuming. But honestly, Oliver is the whole reason why Oliver P. Toliver exists. They started making the treats for him and then thought, well, why is he the only one who gets these? So I started sharing them with friends and neighbors. And I just felt like every dog deserved the same care and attention. And so that's where it really started. And his spirit is in every single treat I make. His the energy, the joy. That's what Oliver P. Toliver is all about.
Yeah, I love that.
So is he your taste tester too? Did he approve all these recipes?
Yes. Well, he wasn't very, I'll be totally honest. He's not the most discerning dog, but I will say that my brother's dog, who's a poodle and very picky, this is one of the only treats that he will eat.
This is really, I tried it, by the way. Like I tasted it too. Like I'm like, oh, let me see if it's
You're not the first. You're not. When I first gave them out, I think it was for holiday gifts for our neighbors, and it had a bone on the front. It was just like handmade packaging, and I gave it to them, and she sent me a text. She said, "Oh my God, everybody loves them. The kids thought they were great," and I said, they're dog treats, right? I mean, you can eat them, but they just don't want the same flavor profiles you might be used to.
Yeah. But I tasted it. I can taste the banana. I'm like, oh, that's why they really like it. Yeah. So that's why I know it's good.
My gosh, that is
We've been.
hilarious.
Well, when was the last time? I mean, the first time I got the treats was at the Wags and Walks event in 2023, and ever since we've been like getting every month. Yeah, we just love Oliver P. Tollivers. Okay. Um.
Myth or truth? Store-bought dog treats labeled natural are always a healthy choice.
I'm going to say myth. And this one really gets me because natural is largely a marketing term.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sugar's natural. Some preservatives are natural. That doesn't mean they belong in your dog's treats. So to me, natural means real whole ingredients like banana, sweet potato, apple. The word natural on a label tells you almost nothing.
Mhm.
My best advice would be to always read the ingredient list because that's where the real story is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Amber, my takeaways with this discussion with Beth. Always read the label, and I love the intention of like how Oliver P. Tolliver's treats got into yeah. And as I said, like we love this treat, Dr. Amber. And thank you, Beth, for having this in this space. I hope that this will be in stores close by, in retail stores close to us.
Hopefully one day. Yeah.
No, yeah, we'll help you. I'll help you. I'll help you.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
I think my takeaway is that, yeah, we should scrutinize every single thing that our pets eat and not only just look at the calorie count, but really the ingredients and why we're feeding those ingredients, just so that we can have the best health and we're not making them fat. You know, I just, I see so much obesity in practice and it hurts their quality of life, their longevity. And so, yeah, just to be really intentional about what we feed our pets, not only their main diet, but also the treats.
Yeah. How about Beth? Like any takeaway from this conversation? I mean, you gave us a lot of like good things, good vibes, and how you built Tollivers.
I think that it's, like hearing Dr. Amber's story about her walk with her dog. And, I think it's really important to understand that people are all coming from different places and different points of view. Even now, you know, you know, this is probably like my fifth or sixth dog that I've had in my life. And I think with each dog, you learn what works for them. And you also you can use treats to help with behavior issues and, enrichment, getting them nice and tired. And I think it's just, would say like the thing that this conversation helps me remember is that you can always learn something new. You always think like you might be doing the best thing you can for your dog, and maybe at the time you are, but there's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth. Anything that will help benefit a dog. And like you said, the longevity thing. And it's not just how long the dog lives, it's the quality of life that's really important. And that's, overweight dogs, it takes away, years of their life if they're really over. So it's really important, just like us, right?
Yeah.
You want to eat healthy things for your body, for your brain, for your heart. And I think dogs deserve just exactly the same as us.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Thank you, Beth. This has been such a powerful conversation, from rethinking what we put into our dogs' bodies to redefining what it really means to care for them. And your story with Oliver is such a beautiful reminder that sometimes the biggest movements start with one dog, one decision, and one act of love.
Yeah, thank you again, Beth, so much. How can our listeners reach out to you?
They can find us at oliverptolliver.com.
Yeah. If every dog owner listening today could change just one thing starting tomorrow to improve their dog's longevity, what will it be? What stands out most is this: longevity isn't just about adding years to your dog's life, it's about adding intention to their everyday moments. From the treats you choose, to the enrichment you provide, to the bond you build. If this episode made you rethink what you're feeding your dog or how you're showing up for them, share this with a fellow dog parent, follow the show for more conversations on pet health and longevity.
You can email us at podcast@vitalpetlife.com or tag @vitalpetlife on social media. We'd love to share your insights with our listeners and viewers in a future episode, and check out Beth's work with Oliver P. Toliver's Thoroughly Tasty Treats to see how treats can truly do more than just taste good. They can do good. We'll put it in our show notes. Until next time, give your pets a little extra attention today, because the small things you do daily are what shape the life they live.
I love that.